Okay, this is now going to be my final review for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, now that I have played the game completely through, and this has been my playthrough, let's play, gameplay of that. The way I played this game was trying to do it properly, but not 100% ghost or stealth. I did it nicely, whereas I did not kill everybody. I just stunned them or took them out with the Q button to knock them out, but I didn't kill them. And so that would create less chaos, although I did not ghost the game, which is something you can do if you're like not noticed through the whole game. I didn't care about necessarily causing chaos, even though I didn't kill. So that's the way I played it. Now, another way you could play it, which would also be fun, would be to just outright kill everybody and cause chaos and not care who's in the crossfire. That could be a fun way to play the game as well. Now, I have done this previously with Deus Ex Mankind Divided, previously with Human Revolution. I did a similar playthrough like this, where I played it the, quote, nice way, but then I did a very fast and quick kill everybody, Jensen kills everybody playthrough second to that. I do have both playthroughs of those on the channel, so if you want to see the first game played both ways or either way, check out those playlists. But this is a kind of game also where I could see doing that as well, because I liked playing it the way I did, where you try to get through things with dialogue and the diplomatic way and finding alternatives to different situations. But there's also the brute force way, which could be fun, and I would like to play this game again in that way and do it like that, and I think I will in 2023. I think I will do a replay of this game, but where I just kill everybody, which means the game will go a lot quicker and I may miss side quests. But I still think that could be a lot of fun, and I want to do that. So look forward in the future to probably a secondary playthrough of this game, doing it in that way. So I'll have two different styles of playthrough in this game on my channel, just like I did Human Revolution. And so that kind of goes into my overall review of this game, because like Human Revolution, I enjoy that flexibility in how you want to play the game. You know, do you want to stealth it? Do you want to cloak and, you know, hide and pull everybody off to the side and not be seen and do things quietly? You can enjoy it that way. Or do you not care about being seen? Are you okay with chaos? Are you okay with alarms going off and everybody firing at you? That's another way to play it. And then another way to play it is to just stun people and not kill them, or to kill them. So those are other options you could play this game with also. So in that way, there are so many different combinations that you could play this game, or the way you play it. You could rely on diplomatic talking, using these, the back and forth conversation methods it has to talk your way through things. Like, for example, I did with Allison Stanek, where I got her to, capitulate basically, and she ended up giving me that kill switch for her bombs. Now, if I had not done that, if I had just killed her, or if I had done something wrong or different, at the end of the story, when we met Marchenko, I would not have had the kill switch option for the bombs. I wouldn't have the signal jammer for the bombs. So even at end game, that would be one less option I would have. Another thing, and this goes around to the end options I had, if I had not found Marchenko's kill switch in the GARM station, I would not have had that option either. So, three different things could have happened here. We could have had or not had the kill switch for Marchenko. We could have had or not had the signal jammer. Or we could have used the third option, which I actually didn't get to read because it gives you a very short time to select one of those options. But if I had neither of those options, if I didn't have Marchenko's kill switch or the bombs, then I would have to use the third option, which is either fight our way or try to kill him before he just does anything, or maybe there was a dialogue option. I'm not sure because I didn't do it. But there would have been a third way. And that depends on how you played the game. And that depends on the things you found or didn't find or accomplished or didn't accomplish. Maybe you didn't even do the Church of the Machine God mission. And if you did not, you wouldn't have had that kill switch for the bombs, the jammer. Maybe you didn't find the hidden kill switch for Marchenko. Then you would not have had that. But then having all those at the end means you get to choose. How do you want it? How do you want to end this? It does, however, give you a very, very short time to decide. That's the kicker there, is it doesn't give you a lot of time to think about it. You got to pick quickly. That's the part I don't like. I wish they gave you a little more time to choose and think about your options. However, what it does make me want to do is go back and play each option and see what happens. What happens if I use the signal jammer instead? Or what happens if I use the other option, whatever it was? I think I do, or I actually take that back. I think I am going to go back and try those different options to see what happens. And I'll probably record that. What I may do is make a compilation video where it shows all three options. Like, here's what happens when you do the Marchenko kill switch. Here's what happens when you do the signal jammer. And then here's what happens with whatever the third option is. I think I'll make like a combo video that has all three options in it so that people can watch those to see what each option would do. I think that would be fun to watch. So I'll probably put something like that together in the future. And so that brings me then to another part of this game I like, and that is all the different options that you can have depending on how you play the game, depending on if you kill people, depending on if you do dialogue options, depending on what you find or what you convince people to do. All of that leads to different choices in the game, and the choices you make matter. And so that means there's a lot of replayability with the game. You can go back and replay it a different way than you did before, and you'll get a different result, and that will be fun. And that's what I like, is just all the different ways you can accomplish things. And then not even that, but just traveling to different places. You can get there through the front door. You can go right in through the front door on things, or you can hide and go through the vents and like bypass and go around people, or you can hack into computers and take out cameras and set turrets to like fire, friendly fire, or turn them off. There's just a lot of stuff like that. And so how you accomplish things in the game, there's so many ways to accomplish different things, and that's huge. This is just really, really, really great gameplay. This is a well-made game. And that's what I like about the Deus Ex series. Human Revolution was like that, and then Mankind Divided expands upon that, and it's even better, and I love it. Now these games, let's get into some of the graphics here. These games are a product of their generation when they were made. Human Revolution does look dated today. It is an older game. Even back when it was made, it kind of looked a little dated for the time period, to be honest. So I get that, but we have to just understand when it was made. The graphics are going to be dated, but that game is still fun because it's the gameplay that makes that game fun. Now in Mankind Divided, it was made a little bit later, 2014, 2015 when it was made, so it came out in 2016. So it was made on a much newer engine than Mankind Divided, and the graphics in this game still hold up today. I played this game here in 2022, and I felt like the graphics held up. There were times when I could see often things in the distance that, you know, there was lower level of detail off in the distance on things. A lot of the stuff was more in the foreground than the background. So yeah, I get that. But for this game playing this game in 2022, it still looked good. The textures looked good. The rain effects were really good. The water effects and the rain effects, those were actually really good. The reflections were really good. And the atmosphere. What really makes this game and what really sets it apart is the art style and atmosphere of the game. And I think you'll notice this in a lot of ways. First is the art style. Even in this screenshot we're seeing here, with this thing in the background. The art style of this game is amazing. It really makes the game. And then you set that with the tone and the lighting. The lighting here is orange, it's glowing, and then it has a fog and steam rising up. This atmosphere that the game sets is ominous. It looks futuristic. It looks something out of, like, let's say, Blade Runner. That's the word I'm looking for. That's the movie I'm looking for. It's like something out of Blade Runner. It's that atmosphere. And that's what brings you into the game and makes it have the right tone. But it's the lighting and atmosphere and art that brings you into that universe. And that's what this game and the last game also did very well. And that's one thing I love about it. Also, the music. The music brings you into it. The unique music, the unique background music that's playing while you play, that draws you into the environment, into the atmosphere. It has that retro wave, future wave, it's like future dystopia kind of feeling. It's pretty much what people in the 80s thought the future would be. You know, it's that feeling, that music is just so good. And I said this in Human Revolution also. The music is just so good. I mean, I seriously listen to those hour-long Deus Ex soundtrack things on YouTube while I'm working or whatever, because that music is so good. I don't know. I can't explain it. The music is on another level. And it's my favorite type. And I'm into it. And I want more games to use that. So, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, right there, you know, with that music I love. So it's got the art, it's got the lighting, it's got the environment, it's got the music. And even though over time this game will not look the best, it will start to look dated after a while, I think it's still worth playing because of the gameplay and the options that you have. So I very much recommend this game. One other thing I will bring up is that I know a lot of people, when they played this game the first time, excuse me, when they played this game the first time, or there were a lot of YouTube playthroughs of it the first time, a lot of people complained that it felt like the ending was abrupt. It felt like there was more story to be had, but the game didn't finish. Like, it finished 3/4 of the way through, and there could have been more story. I will say that I partially agree with that. I think the ending was abrupt right after Eliza Kassan's news thing. It just ended right there, and it was over. I'll say that was abrupt. But I do feel the story does feel almost complete. I guess what people were thinking or feeling was were we going to meet Janice at the end? Were we going to have a little bit more story where we go searching for Janice? But to me, that feels like a whole new game. To me, something that major in the storyline feels like they should just make a whole new game based on that premise. Like, the in-game goal would be to go find Janice. So I think they could make a whole nother game where that's like the end game, where you go find Janice. So maybe along the way we discover that the psychiatrist is, a mole, and we have some storylines that deal with that, and all kinds of other things happen. But I think the Finding Janice is a game in itself. So I personally don't feel that there wasn't enough story in this game. I think that maybe a lot of people would feel that way if they did not do the side quests and they did not do the found missions. If they ignored the found missions and the side quests especially, then yes, this game would be short. It would be very small. If you only did the main missions, you're basically sabotaging yourself. The game would be very short. The main missions is like half the game. It's the side missions and found missions that make up the other half of the game. So if you don't do those, the game's a short game. But you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't spend the time doing that. Because a lot of the story and lore is in the side missions and found missions. We had the whole Daria thing come up where we had to have this solve this crime scene just, you know, out of nowhere. We found this found mission where we had to, you know, have this crime scene. That was a really engaging story and really well written. One of the best well written, you know, missions in this game. And you wouldn't have done that if you didn't do the main mission. You would have totally missed it. So you must do those found missions. And then there are the side quests, which are go do these other things. That's important also. You will miss the game if you don't do those things. So I think that's why the game could or maybe did feel short for some people, because they didn't take the time to find all the found missions and do all the side missions and then talk to everybody. I found missions by talking to people. So if you don't do that, you're not going to find those things. Also, reading all the computers, because again, you'll find things in the computers. And that's another thing I did. I took several hours. You saw several videos of mine where I just took time looting and exploring different parts of the city. And I believe that's part of the fun of the game, and that's part of the game that takes up story time, is to do that exploration, to spend the time going to the different sections of the city, searching all the computers, talking to everybody, looting everything, finding all the secret compartments and hidden areas. That's part of the game to me. That's part of the storyline. That's part of exploring the game. And I think if you don't do that, that's again more time you could spend playing the game that you're not doing. But I think it is part of the game. And I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't spend the time doing that. I think that, again, if you don't do that stuff, yeah, then the game is going to be short for you. But if you spend the time doing that, it'll feel like a full game. You'll feel like you've had a full experience, because I'm sitting here now, and I can tell you, I feel like I've had a full experience of the game. I feel like I'm satisfied with the storyline. I'm satisfied with the amount of story. I'm satisfied with the amount of time I've spent in the game. I'm satisfied with all the exploration I did. And I'm satisfied with how it all turned out. I'm satisfied. I don't feel shorted. And that's because I did all the found missions. I did all the side missions. And I did all the exploration. I spent time exploring. Remember when I went to the bank and just spent a whole lot of time exploring every parts of the bank? These are things in the game that are there for you to do that. And you're not exploiting the game properly, in my opinion, if you don't do that. And so, yeah, it could feel short if you don't do those things. So what I feel now is that it wasn't short. Do I still feel there is story to be had? Absolutely. There should be a sequel to this. We should find Janice. We should do all that. But that should be another game, a sequel to this game. And that's how I feel about that. All right, let's go back and talk just a little bit about some choices. It ends up, so in the last video, I had a choice to save the delegates or to just go take out Marchenko immediately. It seems I don't need to go back and replay that because we were able to save the delegates and also take out Marchenko in time. But what would have happened if I had gone to Marchenko first? All the delegates would have died. So that's a choice you could make. But it turns out, and just like I thought in games like this, there's still a way. Even if you choose to save the delegates, there was still a way to get to Marchenko in time that he didn't destroy the towers. So that's what I was thinking, and I was right there, so I really don't need to go back and replay that bit, because I see now that it worked out fine. It worked out exactly the right way I wanted it to. Save the delegates and take out Marchenko. I was able to do both with saving the delegates. So I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that ending. But like I said, I do want to go back. Really the only thing I want to replay are the three options at the end with Marchenko. Either use the signal jammer or the other, whatever the third option was. That's really the only thing I want to replay for my choices. There might have been a couple of other things previously I had talked about that I want to try see what happens if I know what it was. Oh, there is another thing I want to do for sure. There was one option we had way back where we could stop some delivery or something that was going on with the bank, or we could go help this other person. I think it was, in fact, Allison. So that was a choice, and I went to help Allison, or maybe it was Daria. It was one of those people. I went to help them instead of going to the bank and dealing with that situation. And so the thing with the bank fell through because I didn't go do it. I think it was a Church of the Machine God, Allison, something like that. So I would actually want to go back and make the other choice now, where I help, do the bank, stop the bank thing going on, and do that one instead. So yeah, that is one choice I want to make differently in another playthrough, is I would choose that option and see where that leads. So I do want to do that change. So that's the other change I would make in another playthrough. Again, that's the fun about this game, is going back and doing another playthrough and then making those different choices. So yeah, I would want to try that for sure. So yeah, there's some choice differences that I would make there with that. Another thing, I know I'm kind of going around in circles here, or jumping from place to place, but another thing I want to talk about was just how beautiful the Udalek complex area of the game was. Like I was saying, during that area, the graphics, the atmosphere, everything in that area was good. But what I really liked about the area was the world detail. And you're looking at it in this screen here. This is the Udalek complex. This area of the game had so much detail. World detail, what they call world clutter, had a lot of world clutter in it. And that world clutter makes it feel real and lived in and huge in scope. For example, in this picture we're seeing here, look on the ground, we have yellow tape strung around over here on the right side. We've got this yellow tape over here, right? Well, look at all this debris on the ground. We've got this debris on the ground here, lots of debris just all over the ground, very scattered. And even the way this tape is wound up, it's not just flown over or strung over. It's all maneuvered around this in a random way. You've got boards on the railway here covering part of it up, while you have a different texture here on this side. All of these spikes are different sizes and look different. You have this clutter back here on the floor, clutter here. You have all of these pipes or wires or strings being pulled all over the sides here. You've got the railing up here, you've got lights on here, just all this world detail and world clutter. It just really feels in the game and makes it look unique, and makes it look really good. That Udalek complex was just so detailed, and it is really one of the more beautiful areas in this game. And the other beautiful area I loved was when it was raining in Prague at the end. That was just beautiful stuff, going out into the outdoors while it was raining. The last section of this game, while we're in the convention center, was actually a lot bigger in scope than I thought it would be. I thought we would just go straight to the convention center and be at the last thing, but we actually had to go to different levels. We had the rooftop, then we had that little area right underneath, and then we had to go to the meeting. Then we had to go to the little open bar area with the music, and take out soldiers that honestly were very visible and hard to do, but I did it without them seeing me. Took a few tries, but I made it happen. That's the important part. And then we still had to go save the delegates, and we had to go through that whole maintenance area, and then we still had to end up going all the way back around to the exhibition area where Marchenko was. Whole new area there that we really didn't get to explore that area. But I think maybe if I choose the third option, I would. I'm not sure. So, yes, that is all good. Now, here's the sad part of my review. I know there's not a sequel, and I know there's not going to be a sequel, and that's the sad part. If you played this in 2016 and you get to the end, you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the next Deus Ex, looking forward to the storyline continuing. Well, it's not, because Square Enix is out. It's out. is gone, right? Like they don't exist, or they've been bought by somebody, or they've been captured or conglomerated, or some word I'm looking for that I don't know the answer to. Well, I guess that's the end of my review for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Again, I want to thank everybody who watched my playthroughs of this. You guys are totally awesome. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.